All right, so we're off.
Yes.
Welcome, Joe.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Finally,
I appreciate
We've
it,
been
man.
talking about
Thank
this.
you. The pleasure's all mine.
So what's up? How you doing?
I'm good. How are
Yeah.
you doing?
I'm good. You were just on a vacation, right?
Yes, I checked out the Thailand.
Yes.
So I was in the jungle,
in the jungle for
you know, just looking for artifacts to sample.
Damn.
Yeah.
What did you find?
Now we found good vibes, good energy,
Yeah.
good food, cheap
Definitely. Yeah, my girlfriend is from Thailand, and
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to going and enjoying
food. Yeah,
the
man.
food.
You got to check it out. Everybody's got to check it out.
Yeah.
I believe.
And you had quite a hectic period before you left, right? With the show at Nolan.
Yeah. We had I had my debut show at Nolan.
Dope. With Mo Piano.
Yeah, with
our
Mo
boy.
Piano opening. Yeah, exactly. Crazy. And there's just a lot of pressure just trying to get everything together.
Yeah.
And like the most, what can you say? One of the most fulfilling things with the show was that I actually grew up in that building.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I grew up in that building from when I was like 1 to 5. And I remember just, there was one night when Alicia Keys had one of her shows in that building. And I went up on they have like this little section area at the back of the building.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the roof, but a bit lower. And when I went up there, I could hear the whole show.
Without going to the show.
Without going to the
could-
show, and some of her staff were up there just like barbecuing and stuff. So I was like 5. So
Wow.
but I just remember that moment, and that's why it was such a big deal for me being able to have my debut in
Yeah,
that
man,
building.
that's
Yeah.
dope. There's so much extra stuff with you, like behind your music and behind all the moves. And I'm hoping we can illuminate some of that in this conversation.
Definitely.
So you're constantly working. There's always new stuff coming up around you. What's up next? You got a single coming, right?
Yes, I got a single coming out. Hopefully by the end of the month, but you never know how things work out. So Bad Decisions is the name of that single.
Bad Decisions. I've heard it.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those tunes that people will be humming to and really vibing with.
I just hope people get the chance to listen to it. It's a very clouded market nowadays.
Yeah.
So, but I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good.
And we will get into more of the grind behind and try to illustrate how much of this is really self-made and a lot of grind behind it. But first, let's dive into the tune. Let's switch our headphones and you can maybe give us a breakdown of the track. As you are not only the artist, you're the songwriter, you're the producer, you're everything around the tracks that you release.
Yeah, man.
So I'd love to go behind the scenes, if we can call it that.
Definitely.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
listen. We won't hear ourselves in the headphones now.
That's all good. But basically, this isn't the mixed or mastered version. This is the version that was laid out by myself
The raw
before.
version.
Yeah, the raw version. So you still get a general idea.
Yeah.
But I don't know how we're going to do it. If we're just going to break it down.
Break it down however you feel comfortable. Either the way you sequentially build the beat or just whatever sound you want to pick out.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, I think we started off with the pad.
Yeah.
And I think when I heard this, it was instant, man. And just the progression. I don't even know how I came up with the progression. I think I was just messing around. I was like, oh, this is cool.
You found the sound and started playing with it, just vibing around.
Exactly. And
I like it. It has a mystical feel to it.
Exactly. And I think added the kick.
Yeah.
The bass,
the bass
was a key element to it.
Ooh. It really tied it together.
Already right here, you feel it. It's like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's already there. But what really drives this track is basically the percussion and the hi-hat. So that was a key element in the beginning of the song.
Yeah. There we go. When do you start writing? Do you start writing already when you got the kick, or when?
I think this was a song where I don't really remember exactly how it was, but by usually when I have this much done, I'll just go up to the mic and I'll just record whatever.
Start
and basically,
vibing.
Yeah. I mean, I could just say random shit. It just sounds like mama jumbo. But basically what happens then is I get an idea where I can take maybe a chorus, and I think this one was quite instant. So I had like a melody within very short of making this whole thing. Basically the hook ended up like this.
You can restart it. Ooh.
Yeah, she just wants smoke all night and make bad decisions. Always on a
so this was basically this was basically the idea for the hook was quite instant. I think I came up with she just wanna smoke all night and make bad decisions. That was like it was instant. And after I had that I was like, okay, damn.
People will be singing that. I have been singing that since I heard this track. It's so. I like the tempo. What BPM is it?
It's 131 BPM.
131.
So, but it feels much slower.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It does. Yeah.
But it's just because I never take. It's always in like half tempo.
Okay.
It's always in. It kind of the drums are sort of in half that BPM. So what would that be?
That's about 70.
Yeah, about
right?
70, 60 something, 65, 68.
Yeah.
But anyway, the whole, I think when I had this loop running, so basically I added a shaker. The shaker.
Okay.
And there's an extra bass under, which is layered.
Okay.
So it's these two together.
You hear them.
Yeah, once there's a pulse.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? And there's a tom.
Yeah. It's like the bigger drum thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the kick. So this is basically what I had, man. It's straightforward. And you know what the interesting thing about this is that I made the track about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's been sitting for a while and it's been done. But I made this actually in the beginning when I started producing.
It's one of your first beats.
Yeah, it's one of my first beats that I ever did and that I felt was like, okay, this is actually decent.
Yeah.
So everything on this beat is actually like a stock plugin from Logic.
Okay.
So I don't have any like plugins like battery or just samples. Everything on this beat is Logic.
The
so it just shows,
standard.
Yeah. It just shows that you could, from basically the most simple equipment, you can make something that's decent.
Definitely. I guess it's about the creativity and what you do with it, how you put it together.
Yeah.
And I really thank you for breaking it down like this. I really loved getting it bit by bit. The bass is crazy.
Yeah.
The percussion is crazy, but the bass together is really something to vibe to.
I have to fucking use it again.
Yeah.
I just realized that. I was like, yo, I need to save this preset and just make it again. Or
Definitely.
just use it.
Definitely.
But then that's the chorus.
Yeah.
So it's the main part.
Yeah.
The hook we just did, this is like the verse, kind of the bridge before the real verse comes in.
Okay.
It's
There's
only one
part,
verse.
you know that it will come.
The elevation.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I remember that part.
Exactly.
There you can feel it's 131 BPM. It goes up in tempo.
Exactly. And it's just, It's the same thing. It's just that I put the hi-hat, I put the kick
Yeah.
in a different tempo.
Okay, but it's the same.
Exactly. Let's see. I want to get some vocal on here.
Yeah. You probably be able to send me the full track, and I can cut that
definitely.
in. Yeah.
We could actually. I'll just bring up the full track right away.
Yeah, she just wants smoke all night and made bad decisions.
All right. So we listened to the intro.
Something different. She just wants smoke all night, making bad decisions. Always on a run and chasing something different, baby.
Yeah, man.
Dope, man.
This is the one, yeah.
Fantastic track. I'm so glad you're releasing this. I had the pleasure of hearing this, I think, was it a year and a half ago or maybe more?
Probably.
Yeah, you had it in your stock, sort of.
Yeah, probably. And I think at that time, the verse wasn't recorded.
No.
So it was just a hook.
Yes.
And then I was like, all right, let me actually get this done. And like with the verse, I draw a lot of references to Sweden.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, what's the inspiration behind the lyrics and
yeah,
the
so
song
basically
and
the whole concept of the song is...
We can actually switch back to...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so basically the concept of the song is just, it's quite self-explanatory with the hook. It's like, she just want to smoke all night and make bad decisions. So it's just... when you're in that place of temptation, so you can't really make up your mind of what to do because there's things tempting you, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a female. It can be whatever in life, right? So it could be, should I do this? Should I not do this? So that's the whole general idea of the song. But in the verse, I go a lot into I draw references to Sweden. So I say like Miss Allegra can tell you all about it, right? So I say something like, whipping down the lane or whatever, and I'm like, Miss Allegra can tell you all about it, and Snow Allegra, she's from Sweden.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Right?
Yeah, dope, man.
Yeah. So I say,
oh yeah,
damn, this the feels. Miss Allegra can tell you all about it. Boom, I'm referencing her, Sweden, and then I say, wait, let's have a listen.
Yeah.
Miss Allegra tell you all about it. City dead around about 11:30. You could probably catch a nigga down on Söder. So Söder, that was, that's where people hanging out at 11:30.
South of Stockholm. That's so right, man.
Exactly.
I love the way you broke it down there. You gave me more of the song.
Yeah. So basically, it's just what it's supposed to be is just a vibe.
Yeah.
It's my first track using Autotune, and it's for the purpose of just creating that futuristic, ambient, spaced out type of vibe.
I guess with the Autotune and that, it makes it a little bit different from the previous Joe Lefty tracks.
Yeah.
But I think it still goes together with your vibe. It's not too far out there. It's still, I guess because you produced it, it's still your mannerisms.
Exactly. It's completely right, man. I think, just why it's still me, it's because, like you said, it's like I made the beat, I know where to take it. And that's the thing, when you make a beat, and any producer could say that, they know where the pocket is. They know where you can go and where you fill in the blanks. So yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah.
Different side of the music, you could say.
I can't wait till this is released so I can bump it at home and get more of those references that you snuck in there.
Of course. Hopefully by the end of the month.
Yeah.
We just filmed a short montage.
Yeah. Was
video
it
thing.
Our guy Milad filming it?
No.
Oh, not this one.
Friend of ours.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
So he filmed it, Sebastian, and then we had Jordan as a creative director.
Cool.
still.
Yeah.
And he was also the creative director for Plug.
Yeah,
So
dope video.
Yeah, just keeping it in-house and working with good people,
Yeah.
good friends. And looking forward to it as well.
Dope, man. We'll get more into the network, the friends, the people behind the grind.
Yeah.
But let's get behind Joe Lefty. Who's Joe?
Who's Joe?
Yeah.
Damn, that question is always hard.
Yeah, wide and hard. Where should you start?
Who am I? But independent musician in the sense where a lot of the music is really created hands-on by myself. But at the same time, I work with a lot of people, like as I was saying.
Collaboration-wise?
Collaboration-wise, and just the team is based off, the same core group.
Yeah.
But, I grew up, I was born first and foremost in Sweden. I grew up in Australia. I found music at a
When did you move from Sweden to Australia?
I moved there when I was 5.
5 years?
Yeah, roughly 5. Came back to Sweden when I was 14.
All right, that's quite a few years there.
Exactly. And I found music very early, at the age of 13, I'd say.
Yeah.
So basically the guys, when I was going to school, all the Samoan guys and the New Zealanders, they'd bring guitars and whatnot to school. And they'd amazing musical talent, which people don't know about. They all have like voice, they can all sing and they play the guitar like awesome. So they'd bring their guitar and they'd sing and they'd do these covers of like hip hop songs. So they'd do like 50 and Snoop Dogg and they'd just sing and everything. And I'd see them and I'd be like, oh, that's pretty dope. So I wanted to jump in and get in the cypher.
Yeah.
So I learned, I can't remember, it was like a Snoop Dogg song. I learned one of the verses, right? And I after school, when they were having their jam session, I joined in.
Yeah.
I laid the verse. I'd been practicing for a while just so I could get it. Yeah. Wow. I've been practicing. So I did that, and I was like, yeah, this is super fun. I started recording on the computer.
Was it still in Australia?
Yeah,
when you got,
it was on the computer. It's like you have the computer and you like rap into the into the mic. So I did that. And then prior to that, I moved back to Sweden when I was 14.
Yeah.
And my dad, I moved in with my dad, and he had a recording studio at home, or like a mini home studio, right?
Okay. Was he a musician himself?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he's a piano player. So in that sense, I just started sitting there because I was already interested. And then it just evolved from there.
How did it evolve? Like, so you had access to that studio. Did you find beats of YouTube first? I'm guessing that's how most people start off, with YouTube.
YouTube was the holy grail.
Yeah.
But this was still quite fresh, right? So this is when I was like 14.
Yeah.
15. I was ripping beats. No, you know what the thing was? It was MySpace.
Oh yeah,
it was
MySpace.
We were on there, and you dig for beats, and then it was like SoundClick, another website for beats. So we just ripped stuff off there, and basically there was already kind of a scene with like different young rappers or whatever in Sweden.
Is that what today might be referenced to, like this SoundCloud scene? Or is it before or
it was
lower?
Before. This was way before. Like this was nobody was doing music in that way. Like nobody was. The hip hop scene in Sweden hadn't bloomed as it has done now. But there was still there was a couple people who did music, and everybody knew of each other.
Oh yeah,
because it was so small, and it was always like, if you put out a song, it was like, yeah, check it out.
Okay.
But you knew which ones were going to check it out.
A tight-knit community.
So it was kind of a competition. Yeah. And one of my good friends, Dave Run, he was one of the dudes where it was like, yo, he's fucking dope. So it was always like, yeah, I hope you see this.
Yeah.
Check it out. But yeah, and after that, I kind of fell off from doing music.
What age is this?
It was about, I'd say 17.
17.
Yeah.
You've been doing it for about 3-4 years, running around in this community.
Yeah. And then it was like nothing. It was quite dead, basically. Being in Sweden, nothing was happening.
I think this is around the period I first heard your music.
Okay.
You did a music video in Skogås. Do you remember what song that was?
Yeah.
I was in Fryshusets gymnasium. I went there. So I think there's some dudes that knew of you through that. And I heard the first song. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I was into different stuff, man. I was into like basketball and just, I don't know, just fell off. But then eventually I got back into it. And
how many years later?
I think probably when I was like 21.
That's a few years.
Yeah, I got back into it. And then it was like you kind of start off from the beginning. And I wasn't so fond of the ripping beat from YouTube. I tried that. So it was like I had to find a way to find producers and collaborate, but it was just really hard, man. So what happened was I was fed up with like hunting for beats and trying to get a fucking mixtape together. You know what I mean? That's what you did. You get a mixtape together. I didn't want to download beats because I felt it was just kind of the generic thing to do. And then I just fell in love with producing. Because I was like, if nobody's going to give me beats, fuck it, I'm going to do it myself. And that's where the whole like concept, it transitioned into this. So a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be releasing is just, I've made it myself.
Self-produced, There's a lot of work you put in behind it, and especially doing all the parts. I've actually done music myself previously when I was younger. And I know the process, like the whole producing process. It's a job in its own. It takes a lot of time, a lot of hours listening to the same loop over and over, and then switching to the writing side, and then performing as well, and marketing, and doing all of this. Yeah, you really. It's amazing how much job you're putting behind this. It's a real dedication, really.
Yeah, it's dedication, man. But it's at the same time, it's. I feel like I've got to the point where it's when I'm working, I don't really I'm not aware of the time. So you're in a zone where it's like, let me just get this done. Let me just
you're
in a zone, and it's like, it's a creative place, man. I love it. It's one of the reasons why I keep doing it.
How did you go about starting producing? So I guess you had your computer. You might have had some few programs. Had you tried it before and not pursued it, or had you never tried it when you started?
Actually, I did produce when I was living at my dad's.
Oh yeah.
So when I was about 14, and I was making bangers.
Okay.
But it was a not to be like to put myself on the pedestal or anything, but I was before my time. A lot of the stuff that I was producing back then, it kind of falls in the pocket where music is now. Okay. But it was kind of I was going against the grain because I was still doing boom bap, and I was like, you can't do boom bap and then do electronic shit and with like basses and stuff. And like weird arpeggios. It wasn't in the same realm of boom bap. So I was just already then experimenting with production. It just fell off because it didn't feel right.
The response was that this is not the way to do it.
Like, I didn't put anything out just because it felt bad to do it. Yeah. It felt wrong.
Do you have those beats still today?
I might actually have them.
It's so hard with the old, I'm guessing this is an old big ass computer.
Yeah. It's like a bit, I think I eventually put them on an external hard drive.
There we go.
It is, the program is Cubase. So a lot of the beats aren't, if I don't have Cubase, I can't access it.
Exactly. Okay.
But if I do.
We have to solve this. Yes.
I'll eventually.
Somebody hit Joe up with Cubase. Yeah. We need to find these beats. Yeah.
And find these old tracks, man. Super fun.
So you're saying that what you did previously was like a precursor to what you're doing today. So now you got the timing right, you got the experience, I'm guessing, as well, from all these, even these years that you weren't active. That's gaining experience, maybe thinking back of what you've done, thinking forward of what you wish you would do in the future. Would you say that period in between was also very giving in the process?
Yeah, definitely. And I think just finding my own sound and finding what I actually want to do with it. So a lot of reflection has been done, and just like feeling comfortable. And
there's a blessing in stepping away.
Yeah. And being confident. Like now I'm confident in what I can make and where I want to take it. Or it's just like, let me try shit.
Oh yeah.
Just try.
Trying to copy without copying and finding,
Yeah, and just, I don't know. Now I'm in the right mindset.
Having had the pleasure to actually live with you, we lived together. You, me, and two friends of ours rented a house out in Sätra and had the pleasure of living together for a year. And that's actually where we really got to know each other. I've heard of you before, heard your music, but now we got to live together. That's a whole nother thing.
Exactly.
During this time, I really learned about the guy behind the music. Like I got to know you. You're a real, genuine, curious dude. What is it that drives you in your knowledge gaining and your educating yourself? Is it directly for the grind? Is it a curiosity about life and humans? What would you say is like the main motivating factor?
For me, man, it's just, I think I'm just curious. I enjoy learning new things. I remember I was at a point I was very like into Wim Hof and just meditation and just breathing exercises and stuff. So I think it's just more being curious, and then just looking up information.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the time. This is the generation of information, basically.
Yes,
so,
digital age, definitely.
Yeah.
I remember, actually, it's a funny thing, the Wim Hof breathing exercise that you taught me, actually.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, my introduction to any type of meditative practice or breathing practice.
Yeah.
And now I've gotten a little bit further into the journey, but it's fun thinking back that was the introduction.
Yeah. Like, man, if you really think about it, you want to be the best you that you can be. And it's quite, it's kind of generic to say that, like, be the best you. But like, that's what I think everybody's striving to do. And if you're not doing that, it's, it's easy to fall into a pit of depression or, just feeling lost in a sense. And I think a lot of people, everybody's been there. I've been there. And just being curious and learning new things is a good way to keep yourself stimulated. And just, fucking Wim Hof is amazing. My friend, he's been dealing with anxiety and stuff, and just he found Wim Hof. I remember telling him about it, but sometimes you need to find stuff for yourself. And he eventually did find it, and he started doing it, and he called me up and he was like, I feel better.
Wow.
I feel way better now. I've been doing it for a week and my anxiety's gone.
Could you explain what the Wim Hof breathing technique is for those who don't know?
Wim Hof is like it's a breathing practice you do. I think the guy who kind of developed the practice or the technique, I think his name is Wim Hof.
Yeah.
Right? So and it's like you're supposed to charge your body with oxygen by breathing deeply and consistently. And then
like
you
really deep breaths
really deep down to the stomach.
A minute, or how long was it?
I think it was like 30 breaths or something. But eventually you develop your capacity eventually, or whatever. Like you get more. You need to do more.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So after you do that, you hold your breath for as long as you can till you get that the sensation of needing to breathe again.
Oh yeah, I remember. So you do like 30 breaths, and the last one you breathe all the air out.
Yeah.
And then you hold it
exactly
as long as you can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You hold it as long as you can, and then you sit there and you're like, oh shit. And everything else just kind of fades out.
Yeah.
And you're just in your own little zone, right?
I remember that feeling.
Yeah. And you're like, yo, everything's calm. Everything's calm. And what happens is, because you've charged your body with oxygen, you're able to hold your breath for like a really long time.
I remember how you got us hyped on that. We did this like competition or test or whatever. First you let us hold the breath without trying it.
Yeah.
And I think people did a few seconds.
Yeah.
And then at least doubled after doing the exercise.
And then tripled. And then people up to like 3 minutes. And when you're at that point where you're like, oh shit, I'm holding my breath for 3 minutes. It's like, I've never done this before. And it's kind of weird. But then you realize it's like, hey, we can do much more. And I think it's just that level of, you asked me what drives you to look for information and whatever. It's that curiosity of like, hey, what can we do?
Yeah. What are we capable of?
Yeah. What are we capable of? So, And
have you always had that curiosity? Like, do you recognize the traits from growing up, or is it now as an adult where you're more in a competitive phase?
I think it grows on you. I don't know. When I was younger, I was just into like playing young video games.
Yeah.
how do I become good at killing people on the CS? Right. So I think just comes with time. I mean, it's not like that for everybody, but for me, it was just I kind of fell into it. More curious about stuff like meditation. And just traveling. You see things or whatever. What's going on in the world?
It sounds like reaching a point of maturity. We're more mature and susceptible to this type of information.
Yeah.
Is that a factor as well?
Yeah, definitely. But I read more than I used to do. And just
And does that help your music? Does this translate into your?
Yeah, the reading helps.
Yeah.
I sometimes, if I don't read, I feel pressured, like my vocabularies become crappier because I haven't read. I feel like it stimulates the mind where it's like, okay, I'm able to say things
find the
easier,
words faster,
finds words easier, you know, and just compose like a full song, like a concept. It's easier. Like when I've read books, I've had points where like I dream of a concept because I've been reading. And as soon as I wake up, I'm like, oh shit, that's a good idea. Like Born, I did a song Born. Yeah. And that basically that I was reading a lot at that time. And I had a dream about the song basically. I'm not going to go into it too deeply, but just that idea came from that period of time. And I feel like it has something to do with reading.
It stimulates your creativity, which is the main drive behind being an artist, I guess. Being creative.
Definitely. But
And speaking of having lived together, there's one conversation. I've moved out now, but there's one conversation I would like to have had with you guys, and that's about Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
So I haven't listened to Nipsey's music myself. I haven't listened to it too much, but previously, before he passed away, we had conversations about him. Some of our roommates really love him and what he does. Yeah. And I really got like, I haven't heard his music that much. I've heard some of it, but I got an image or illustration of what impact he has had on people's lives.
Yeah.
Even before he passed, the way our friends were speaking about him and the moves he has been making, the empowerment. What's your relationship to Nipsey, and have you?
Yeah, Nipsey, man, that's such a shame. Yeah, I used to listen to him quite a bit when I lived in Norway.
Oh, yeah.
So I had like a year when I was in Norway. And I think it was at the same time he dropped one of his first albums or mixtapes or whatever. I can't really remember the name of it off the bat. But basically, I think it was the one where he'd made 100 copies or something.
Yeah, I heard of that.
And he'd sold them all or like 1,000 copies in it. He sold them all for like $100.
$100
Yeah,
each.
and he came up with the idea from like reading a book where a guy had he had made pie. He opened a pie business.
Yeah.
So he made pies, and he was like, how am I going to sell my pies? And he was like, all right, let me make my pies exclusive. So let me sell them for $100. And I think if I do that, people will buy them. The ones who do buy them will eat them, and they'll like them because they're good. And they'll tell their friends, hey, I just bought a pie for $100.
You have that marketing value just in that.
Man.
Yeah.
And you know, when I read that or I heard that, and I was like, yo, this guy, he's onto something else.
Yeah.
And just that entrepreneurial mind is something that he's showed, and people, I think a lot of people have gained some type of inspiration from that as well. Yeah.
Do you think with what he's done has changed the game in large?
Definitely.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And I know you're really humble, but is that something you would aspire to aim to influence in similar ways?
Yo, I'd love to make 1,000 copies and sell them.
Yeah. Just a grinder.
I've thought of that before, man. But I think just seeing what he's been able to do, you know, he invested. He was strong. He strongly believed that investing was something that we as a community needed to do to build it. You know, we don't have it necessarily as rough here in Sweden as they do in many parts of the States.
Definitely.
Like Crenshaw, for example, or whatever. But I think that teaching the youth that investing is way more beneficial than consuming and purchasing and doing it for the gram or whatever it is nowadays. So I think his message really did affect a lot of people, and I think it will affect a lot of people because he's basically, his legacy is strong, man.
Yeah.
And there's a whole, you know, the whole idea, and the way he passed away is kind of like very sudden. And there's a lot of talk of just this documentary that he's going to put out and stuff.
I heard of that. There's a mystery around that. What's your thought? What do you think? Have you read into that?
I'm not super informed over the matter, but you know, Dr. CB, he was basically Dr. CB is doctor. What I believe is herbal doctor. What I believe, he didn't have like a he didn't go study. He didn't have a PhD or doctorate or whatever
license.
Yeah, he didn't have a license. But he said he cured cancer and AIDS, I think it was. As well, right? Wasn't it cancer and AIDS and heaps of stuff? And
I remember there was one case where they tried to take him before the court.
Yeah.
And actually won that case.
Yeah.
So that's also interesting.
Yeah. I'm not sure how he won it. I don't know if it was like he bring in people and they were like, yo, these people had it. You see it here, it's stated. Yeah. But now they don't have it anymore. And that's also stated.
Sounds like that's what they did.
Yeah. And I mean, just weird stuff.
You think the documentary will come out?
I don't know. We'll see. But smart guy.
Yeah. A lot of interests outside of what you normally would think a rapper, a US rapper would be interested in and talking about. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think just his whole message as well was just like, do what you can and like just keep being motivate yourself. You know, just keep going after it, and build and invest and be smart with your decisions. Don't act out of like out of stupidity, you know what I mean? Like buying
superficial motivating factors.
Exactly. So he wasn't the typical rapper, I'd say.
And talking about being self-motivated, let's get into your grind, which is so encompassing. It's you write your music yourself. Yeah. You produce it yourself. You publish through a publishing service, but it's self-published, or how does that work?
Yeah, so it's what is it? It's like they distribute your music.
Yeah.
I mean, there's heaps. There's DistroKid, Spin Up.
Yeah. But you're not signed to a label.
No, it's not a label thing. It's like they put out your music on digital platforms, Spotify, iTunes, whatever, everything. And quite easy. Really easy.
Really easy to get it distributed.
You just sign up.
Yeah. But there's still a lot of work behind that, I'm guessing. So tell us maybe how a release process looks and who's involved from your team.
So basically it's getting the song done, and to be honest, like I haven't always done it the right way. You know, there's a way to do it where there's the least amount of headache going on. But you're always, I mean, I'm at the stage where there's always going to be a headache or over something that's going wrong. But I try now to have the song done, at least mixed. And then I discuss with my manager, a good friend of mine, Ronaldo, if there's, if it's a video, if we should do a video to the song.
Oh, yeah.
And if we're going to do a video, we write the script, we figure out...
you do that yourself, right?
Yeah, or I'd sit with Mila, who's behind the camera now, or Jordan, and we'd come up with an idea. Jordan's creative producer for my latest project, and a lot of projects coming. Oh, cool.
Yeah. I've seen that he ventured into that. It looks really great, and it seems to suit him perfectly.
He's really talented.
Jordan built here.
Yeah. So basically we discuss if we're going to do a video, come up with the idea, write it, figure out how we're going to film it, and all that, the logistics around it. Yeah.
So making a music video, how it's you, Jordan, Milad, Rinaldo maybe involved?
Yeah.
That's about the team.
That's about the team. And then you have to account for, actors, people who are going to be in it, clothing, location, equipment. The list goes on.
Wow.
Right? So you get the video done, then you have to cut it. Then it's also that, you cut the video.
Editing process.
Editing. Yeah. A lot of back and forth. So we say we get the video done, you've cut it. Then we need to start discuss the cover as well. You need to get the cover, and the easiest way to do it is do it while you're filming. So you take a picture then
to get the scene.
But you don't have to do it like that. But we get the cover done, and when all that's done, figure out a date. But when you have the date, you need content to put out, right? Because who's gonna know you put the video out if you don't have any content?
Exactly.
So now you have to talk about how we're gonna put it out, with what videos, pictures, in what order.
Yes.
So basically, there's a lot of steps to take when doing it. There isn't necessarily a right way to do it, but I find setting dates and goals and timelines for things is the best way to do it. And then of course you're not always going to be able to fall into the pocket, and
especially not having full budget or
man. I think the latest one we did, plugged video, I think the budget what we put on it was 1,500 kroners, which is about $120
all in all. That's crazy, man.
And that's
crazy, man. Yeah. But that also says how much, because getting it that low takes a lot of work from you guys behind. Yeah.
Exactly. So we had furniture we had to fucking take out. And just take the furniture to the location, and it was -5. What was it It was -5 degrees. Probably even colder than that, and we were out there for 9 hours filming, and bring that furniture back to the place, and it's just madness. Madness.
I think I wish more people could see the work behind, and that's I guess what I'm trying to do here. To really appreciate the grind. There's so much grind that goes behind not just being a great artist, but getting it out there and getting concepts together.
Look, I don't know why, but for some reason, whenever I visualize things going right, You know, I try to stay positive, and I'm like, all right, this time it's just gonna go smooth. It never does. It never does, man. There's always got to be one or two fuck ups,
total restart
that you don't have control over.
Yeah.
So,
but I guess it's a learning process as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. And how open are you to like a failure? What's your view of failure?
Shit. I mean, failure is probably it's not supposed to be negative. It's supposed to be a learning process. Like, I've had heaps of times I've done shows and I've forgot lyrics and whatever, and it kind of like, I think about it like, yo, don't. But I tell myself, instead of messing up, just practice a little bit more.
Instead of focusing on
like, okay, I didn't practice as much, I didn't rehearse as much before, so of course I'm gonna mess up then. So you just learn from when it goes wrong. And like, when you say when there's failure, there's been many accounts where stuff is supposed to come out, but like, we've had a date, we haven't been
publicly,
able to, we haven't been able to put it out on the right time. And in that sense, we reflect over what went wrong, what happened, so it didn't come out, and what do we do next time so it does.
Just learning from. So it's a combination of actually learning from the failures, like practical lessons, and also that mindset of not maybe focusing on those failures or hiccups.
Exactly.
Because I'm guessing there must be a lot of stuff that goes sideways, the way you're trying to get the most out of the few guys that you are, really trying to run it like a label almost.
Yeah, man. And going back and forth. Someone hasn't finished editing. Someone hasn't finished cutting. I haven't got the mix back yet. Like, it's all like just problem solving.
And I guess because life goes on at the same time.
Everyone has their thing. You know, everyone has stuff they need to do in this life, and there's technical issues and whatever. So you have to kind of account for those hiccups along the way. But most important is you have your vision, you have your goal, and you just keep doing what you just solve the problems, and eventually you'll get there. Even if it doesn't turn out exactly as you wanted it to, you'll get something out of it.
There's, I think, like trying to be a recording artist, especially today, there's so much similarities in like entrepreneurship and that type of journey. It's problem solving, basically. You're trying to get a product out and you're solving problems along the way.
Yeah.
I really see a connection there.
Yeah.
How would you say that the music industry, or like the way you go about as an artist, you got social media and all of that focus, you got services like Spotify coming up and it's changing up the game. How would you say it has shifted since you started?
Since I started, man, woof.
It must be something else, right?
Yeah, because before, it's like when I first started, it was like, put your stuff on MySpace, put it on YouTube, and you just, hey,
hope for the best.
It's out. Check it out, Facebook, right? So it was I mean, it was a much more easier way of going about it, because I don't think I was really, at that point, I didn't really care.
No,
I just did it because I was fun. Now it's more so just, what's the right way for it to be exposed so it gains the most amount of traction. And of course, that isn't the most important thing, but you still need to account for it. And then, like, the game in general has changed, because you're not really bound to the idea of needing a what is it? Music.
A record label.
Record label.
Yeah.
You're not bound to the idea of needing a record label to be able to put out music, but it's kind of transitioned into the point where Spotify is the record label. So they're sitting on the power. So if you're on the lists, then you're getting played. If you're not on the lists, you're not getting played.
That's really interesting, because what the talk was when Spotify came was that there's no gatekeepers anymore.
Yeah.
It's more open.
Yeah.
But now they have become sort of the gatekeeper.
They're kind of the gatekeepers. Like they're based off algorithms.
Yeah.
So if your song's doing well, they'll put you up the charts on the all the lists that exist. There's
you have
heaps.
the chance of incremental growth of the track. Yeah,
exactly. But then again, it's like if you don't, like for the independent artists, it's still difficult because if you don't have the immediate traction, there's really no way of your song doing anything.
Oh yeah.
Right. So, the ones who are already doing well, they're going to keep doing well because the algorithm is going to say, hey, their music's being played.
Okay. So it's harder to get that organic growth and...
Yeah, in a sense, I'd say. And then now again, you used to be able to email curators for lists. I did that quite a bit, 2007. Yeah. With my High Chakra EP, so we mailed curators and they'd review it and listen to it. It was
direct contact, so you can get that vibe.
Exactly,
yeah.
It's direct contact. But now it's like that you can't mail the curators because you'll get an email bouncing back or their email doesn't exist. So what they've done is you have to submit your song through their artist platform. And that basically lets the curators know the song exists and they'll review it if they want to put it on their list.
Okay.
So
it's a more corporate way of
exactly. And I mean, I don't know if they're even listening to it.
Yeah. That's
it could
so
be because you have to fill in heaps of stuff. Like and how the vibe is. And we'll say if the algorithm picks it up, then maybe it's just an easier way of them seeing like, okay, this is the vibe, this is where we can put it if it does pop off. So it kind of it isn't certain. Just because you put it in there doesn't mean they're going to listen to it. I think it's just it gives them a way to build a category, categorize where songs are,
okay,
and how they sound.
Filter out.
Yeah, filter out what is what. So in that sense, there is another
harder.
gatekeeper.
Yeah,
you know, if you're not on the lists, on the Spotify lists, you're not really able to get seen again. So I mean, there is a way to do it organically. Yeah. It just you have to figure it out.
You have to figure it out and elaborate a lot. And I guess you need a lot of talent for that. So you have guys working with you that are good at different stuff, but I'm guessing like if you take a record label, an artist signed to a record label, they have several people good at someone knows how to hack the algorithms, someone's pro in social media. Yeah. And it's hard to get that full team when you're doing it in this way.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
I've been thinking about that, and I know there's so many people interested in, like, let's take social media, for example, and they want to work with it, they want to contribute, and they have that interest, but they're not working with it. I would love to see a platform where you could put up, this is what I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to release this EP. We have 4 tracks and we need to create content. And someone can just enter in and say, hey, I have this talent. So you can easily find collaborative opportunities for creative projects.
Bro, don't say too much.
Let's cut it there. Let's work on it.
That's a good idea, man.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. Like, hey, what could it be called? Like, find your team.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
Hey.
And they can use that as a reference for getting into work later. But right now, it's about the grind.
Yeah. We'll call it "Who's Your Team."
Sorry.
Who's your team?
My team.
No, we'll call it that.
Yeah. Who's your team?
Who's
your team? Yeah.
Hey,
that's it. We got one.
Nah, that's a good idea. It'd be cool if you could just you go in and people put up, okay, this is the idea. Yeah. This is what we're looking for.
Yeah. What can we do? How can we help? Yeah.
Instead of like we need a PR person.
Exactly. Yes.
You want to join?
They already have jobs. They can do their career, but there's so much talent out there that's really creative. Yeah. Like the way, let's take Jordan, for example. Yeah. He hasn't, as I know, studied or like work with this, but he's a real creative dude. Yeah. That has the opportunity to jump in and be the creative director and do a lot of great stuff. I think there's so much more talent like that out there. Yeah.
Definitely.
Let's utilize it. We're talking about the young Joe, the 14-year-old getting into music and getting into life, I guess, starting out life.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to the young Joe? And I'm guessing and hoping this will apply to other aspiring artists or creatives out there.
Yeah, man. I'd say don't think too much. Don't think too much. Don't try more stuff. And just, I mean, do more stuff, try more stuff, put more stuff out. Like at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. If a song isn't like, oh, this isn't the right sound, like it doesn't matter.
That's a really good advice because the journey is so long.
Yeah.
So if you release 5 not that dope songs here, you have all this time to keep growing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean the people who, because I've listened. Look, if you look at the music that's being putting out today,
yeah,
there's so much, and there's always somebody who likes what you think is. He's got, you know, it's.
There's always something for someone.
Yeah, it's subjective.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, everyone has their own opinion, and just because you don't like it. It doesn't mean the other person isn't gonna like it, and they'll follow your development and your journey, right? So I feel like I would have told myself that, like, put more stuff out. Don't think about it too much. All right, that you of course it's important that you feel that this is right, or that you're okay with it. But
at least that you've done your best.
Yeah, that you've done your best.
You can't do anything outside of that.
Exactly. So as long as you do your best, and people, if they like it, they like it. If they don't, who cares? And I mean, just keep doing it. Don't get distracted by not always getting it exactly how you wanted it, or get distracted by failure, or get distracted by people's opinions.
Yeah.
So I tell myself that, and I'd also I probably would have picked up like an instrument more hardcore.
Oh yeah, I've seen you going into piano now later years. Yeah,
I probably would have done that, and just
had that with you.
Yeah. You know how your parents are like, "Yo, you need to do violin," and you're like, "No,
I'm playing basketball." Yeah.
I'm playing fucking computer games. That, you know, you don't want to do that, but now when you get older, you realize like, yo, I should have done it.
Investing in yourself.
Invest in yourself.
It's so hard to know that when you're young. Yeah. And the advice you were saying about not following the wrong metrics or metrics of success, it reminds me of a quote Gary Vaynerchuk said.
Yeah.
Or it might not have been a quote, but he was talking about likes and people aspiring to be in a position that he's in. They had a lot of questions like, what should I do? I'm not getting enough likes. And he said, don't care about likes. That's the wrong metrics.
Yeah.
Just keep putting it out there. There are other metrics. I found like the save thing.
Yeah.
What I like the most, what's most important for me when I put it out on social media, it's not the most liked. The most liked is like a picture of me or whatever, some boring stuff. But what I'm really interested of, I can see, oh, this is being saved. This is being sent on. And that's more important.
Yeah.
That's someone really connecting to it.
Exactly.
So I think there's a lesson in that, not just following these vanity metrics like follows or likes and finding other stuff, connecting deeper maybe with the audience.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And you were saying that like if you just put out, people will be able to follow your development.
Yeah.
I really believe in that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Inspiring people and look, I'm starting here, follow my journey and let's see where it ends up.
Yeah. No, definitely, man. I tell myself that I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Everything else is just, you know.
Noise.
Yeah, it's just noise.
Yeah. Dope, man. Thank you for that advice. I hope people can take that with them. I'm thinking we should move into my recurring questions.
Yes.
Yeah? So let's start off. How much time do you dedicate to self-education?
Way too little.
Way too little?
No, I'm joking. I don't know. I'm actually no. That's not true. That's not true. I listen to quite a bit of podcasts.
Oh yeah.
And that being, one of my favorites is How I Built This. So they go into, strip down a company like Uber.
Yeah.
How did it start?
the process, where did they go wrong?
Yeah, where they went wrong, how they come up with the idea.
Yeah.
And basically you listen to these guys who just had no idea what they were doing from the beginning and just had a whole different idea of where they're going to take their company, and it ended up being such a big success.
Yeah.
So
like Instagram was something completely different from the start. Yeah.
And those ideas and their concepts, you kind of reflect on them and see what you can take out of it.
Yeah.
And apply it to yourself. So in a sense, I do listen to a fair bit of podcasts.
Yeah. And that's what I love about that is you're gaining experience by someone else's experience.
Exactly.
By hearing their journey, you're actually gaining experience for your journey.
Yeah. So I listen to podcasts.
Yeah. Would you say that's your favorite source of information as well?
Right now it is.
Right now, yeah.
It's convenient.
Yeah.
Because working out, going to the gym, sitting on the train.
You've been putting a lot of work in at the gym recently.
Yeah, going to the gym, just trying to put on some weight.
Yeah.
But I mean, the podcasts are good. I like those. And I listen to Joe Rogan, of course. If you don't,
dude,
get out of here. Dude.
Yeah, it's such a great
sick
podcast. It's a curious guy.
Random shit. I love it,
Everything between the sky and the himmel och jord, vad fan heter det? Whatever. It's like so wide ranging, and I love how he, as a comedian, as a host, that's what he is. But he's so curious, and he accidentally educates millions of people by inviting these guests. I love that.
Exactly. No, so I listen to that as well, and he just talks about everything. But yeah, podcasts.
Yeah,
I enjoy.
Yeah. And what's your best hack for learning?
Best hack? If I want to learn something, like really learn it, I have to repeat and repeat. I mean, I know that there's no way of me easily learning things. Like I can't read a book and be like, okay, I'm done.
I got this.
Yeah, I have to repeat, and I know that. So I think the hack itself is just knowing how you learn, knowing what do you do to get that information and make it sit. Right? So my hack is just figure out what is the best way for you to actually absorb.
On the repetition part, have you practiced or read anything about spaced repetition?
No.
So it's these intervals where if you read something today, if I remind you of it tomorrow, I think the intervals are tomorrow, 1 week later, 3 weeks later, and then they become longer and longer until it's like a half year later. I remind you of the same information. That's a way of you memorizing it almost for life by having these intervals that increase.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that, but I understand where the idea comes from.
Yeah.
For me personally, it's like you say, if I go through it today and I go through it tomorrow and I go through it on Friday, I'll know what it is.
Yeah, and there's a lot to gain in forgetting.
Yeah.
By forgetting, by being wrong and trying, you will remember it in a different way.
Definitely. Yeah.
So if you were to write a book that would be read by all young adults in the world, what would be the title and subtitle of this book?
The title would be Watch Me Fuck It Up. As a double entendre, because you mess up and then you still get it right.
Yeah,
watch me fuck it up,
and also watch me fuck up the game.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
Exactly.
Damn, yeah. And what would be the content? Is it your journey?
I think it'd probably be just my story, man. More detailed from being young.
Yeah.
Going through all the stuff I went through.
Yeah.
I had quite a rough upbringing.
Yeah.
It wasn't the easiest. It's quite tough. And like
Sweden or Australia or both?
It's Sweden and Australia.
Yeah.
Australia was really rough when I was little. But that's another story. But basically I'd talk about that. Write about that.
Dope, man. I hope you get the chance to share.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of lessons to be learned from your journey. And that could actually be a good documentary.
Yeah.
If not in book form.
Yeah.
So in the last 5 years, what new beliefs, behaviors, or habits has most improved your life?
working out is a good habit.
Working out, yeah.
Yo, work
This
out.
recent
Better work
time, recently you've really gone into that.
Yeah.
I've seen some development. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about.
Yeah, man. Last year was just doing calisthenics. So body weight. I did a year. I was determined. I did the keto that you said that you were doing now.
Yeah, exactly.
The intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
And I started doing calisthenics 4 times a week. So I combined those things, went hardcore.
Yeah.
And just put on muscle and I shred down, right? So it was just a way of disciplining myself, getting disciplined. You know what I mean? And building that the mental toughness for because you know you make up excuses.
Yes.
Oh, I don't want to. I'm tired. Yeah, Monday. Fuck it. Go to work out. It builds your mental toughness, right? So I started doing that, and now I'm going to the gym. So I transitioned, and it's good.
Good job. And what you're saying about the similarities behind the mental discipline needed that you can apply to your day-to-day life and the mental discipline that you get from working out. We're trying to illustrate that bridge even deeper. We got some initiatives we're trying to launch with through Learnability.
Yeah.
And it's so true. If you can learn to discipline yourself in fitness and working out, you can take from that discipline in life. Because it is hard to maybe sit down and read or take your time to do what you know is right for you. Yeah. But if you can do it every day in working out, you will have an easier time doing it.
Exactly. And start off small.
Yeah.
You know, like my workout was based off 30, 40 minutes. 30, that's quick, bro. It's nothing.
Yeah, you can get it in.
But you do it 4 times a week.
Yeah.
What's that at the end of the year?
Culminate.
Yeah.
Culminates.
Yeah.
Kulumadu.
Accumulates. Yeah. So man. Best habit.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Dope. So when you feel overwhelmed or unfocused or have lost focus temporarily, what do you do?
Bro, I lose my shit.
You...
Yeah. Now when I
let it go,
I lose my shit, and
start
then I
throwing shit.
Yeah. You just look. If it gets difficult, I kind of have a hissy fit sometimes, man. Because you know when things they're out of your control, you do everything like to the best of your ability. You know, I'll have a little attention, but I'll often do it by myself.
How does that play out? Do you like scream or
no, not really, man. Not really. I just sit and be pissed off, right? So I do that, get that out the way, right? Because it's
you let it come, but not affect.
Exactly. So it's okay. You be a little bit negative. You're not always going to be like, hey, let's go, guys. I reflect over that it messed up. And if I don't have any control over it, I don't. So I let it go eventually.
Oh yeah.
But otherwise, if I can do something about it, I'll get it done eventually. You know,
that's an honest answer. Let it come. Man. Let it be that negative for a bit, and then move on.
Yeah, you can't hide from being pissed off. You're gonna be that
part of life.
Yeah.
So, what are you eager to learn within the near future?
I want to learn like how hotels, the standard is of a good basically my whole goal with this music thing is that I want to tour, right?
Yeah.
So and that involves you're staying at hotels.
Yeah.
So I want to learn what is a good hotel and what is just for fun. But
it's like you have the ambition of traveling the world, and like a goal in that is seeing a lot of hotels.
Yeah, let me see what's good, what isn't good. Nah, but I want to travel, bro. Yeah. Basically, that's what I want to do at the end of the day.
And let the music
the music take me there. So,
lastly,
yes,
what is the kindest thing somebody has done for you?
The kindest thing?
Yeah.
Oof. That's I mean, the kindest thing. Look, I wouldn't say the kindest thing. You know, I have a lot of I'm very blessed. I have wonderful people around me. But one of the things I remember that recently happened is this guy named Adam. He mixed my tracks for the show that I had at Narland.
Oh yeah.
And it was one of those situations that we're talking about. Everything was just fucking up because they were supposed to be mixed before that. I had a certain deadline for when they're supposed to be mixed, so I could do the show. It was like 2 days before, or like a day before. It was like, this is when they need to be done.
Okay.
This guy helped me out
to get it,
and he did it. He took his time, and I know it took quite a bit of time for him to get it done, but he did it, and I was very thankful. And just those small things, man. I think if everybody does those small things for each other, everybody's gonna grow. You know,
it's collaborative effort.
Yeah,
and he got in. It's your stress, but he got in your stress and helped you fix
it. He got in and he stressed to get it done, and like, yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, Adam, I guess.
Yes, Adam, man.
Thank you so much for this conversation, Joe.
Thank you.
It's been a real pleasure to hear more about the man behind the music.
Thank you for inviting me.
That might be what I named the episode.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Joe.
Yes. Thanks, bro.